Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are going to be doing the second apartment for the apartment block that I built in Newcrest. So if you'd like to see the video I created building this apartment block, it is already up on my channel along with the first apartment that we created, which was kind of a single sim spring inspired apartment. It was really fun to do along with the exterior of this build as well. I really enjoyed building this, but for today's video we are moving on to the second apartment, and this is actually the one and only 2-bedroom apartment that is in the block. And I decided to do this for a single parent and infant. Now I kind of envisioned that a lot of the time when I do single parent builds I kind of tend to do them more on the budget side, but I went for a little bit of a different storyline with this one, and I kind of imagined that it's a sim who has a decent income, but she has found herself as a single parent. I actually kind of envisioned that she had a one-night stand and the dad has just decided not to be part of their lives, but she's cracking on, working her way still at her job and then bringing up her child. But we will get a little bit more into that as we go through the build, but for now I'm coming in and doing the kitchen. Now on the first apartment that I built in this block, I did the kitchen in the front of the apartment. I didn't feel as though that worked for this one, so I kind of went with a galley style kitchen towards the back, and it was still a decent size. To say it's only one single adult sim living here, I feel as though it would work well, and I did still manage to fit in things like a high chair for the infant as well. I wanted to make sure there was still some clutter and still wanted this to have a very lived in feel, as I like that to come across in a lot of my builds. So I was coming in and trying to add in clutter that suited a new mum. So I wanted to make sure that there's still things like bottles and wipes lying around. I imagined that before having her child she had a very nice tidy apartment, so she still wants that, but of course when you're busy looking after a child things do get left out. So I tried to just keep the clutter on that sort of vibe, if that makes sense. Now towards the back of the apartment I just imagined that this was a little table and chairs she had, and then of course because she's had a child she's now got to squeeze in a high chair, so I did place that down. I know high chairs can be a bit annoying to play with in the game, but I still like to add them for realism even if I'm not going to play with them. And then we're just coming in, the kitchen come together really quickly. I wanted this to have quite a nice airy vibe to it because the actual block it's a new build inspired set of apartments, so I wanted everything to look quite new and fresh. But I went with these green tile splashbacks, and then I did add in a little bit of lilac, pinks and orange in this one as well, and I really liked how it worked. I kind of imagined that it's a sim who likes to have a little bit of colour in her life. I did swap out the chairs and make them green as I didn't feel as though the pink was fitting very well. But then that was the kitchen done. I went for a tiled floor and just popped down a little rug at the sink area, and then we're going to move on into a living room. Now this is a fairly decent sized living space, so I kind of just wanted to map out everything that I wanted in there. I did also know that I wanted to place down a desk area because I imagined that this particular sim I actually imagined her as something like a fashion influencer. I don't imagine that that's an actual career in the game. I could be wrong because I don't actually play with gameplay very much, but that's what I imagined her working as. So I kind of imagined she spends a lot of her time working at home, things like editing her photos and videos and things like that. So I wanted to make sure that there was a desk area she could work at. So I do pop that down on the other side of this room, but I really loved how well the colours worked here as well. The oranges, the blues, the hints of purple, I felt as though they all tied in really nicely. And again, because she's got an infant and I wanted it to look as quite lived in, I made sure to place down lots of things that an infant might use or even a toddler in the living space. So I popped down the toy box, and here I'm just coming in. I did grab a few things from Debug as well just to kind of make it look a little bit more cluttered and lived in. And then over on the coffee table here I wanted to make sure that there was a few of her own things, as well as like these little baby care essential items that are really handy to have lying around when you're looking after a little child. I always love doing this little touch with the cushions on the sofa. Now I have the tool mod installed again, by just tilting them back a little bit, I feel as though it looks so much more natural compared to how they naturally place when you pop them down. So I do come in and use the tool mod here and there. It's not something I'm skilled in, let's say. I'm kind of getting used to it. I did mention in a previous video, I only recently downloaded it again after taking it out of my game when I got a new computer. I've been playing vanilla, and it's really great to kind of get back into the swing of using that, because I love going in and resizing objects and cluttering up and things like that, and the tool mod does make that a lot easier. Anyway, we've finished off that side of the living space. I did pop down the little playmat for the infant. I think that is such a cute item, and I do hope that we get more items for infants and toddlers in the game. So then we kind of move on over into kind of like this little study section that I did, or working section I did in the entryway. And like I said, I just kind of imagined that this is where she sits and does the admin work, or editing photos, whatever kind of job you decide to actually give her, because like I said, I don't believe fashion influencer is a real job in the game. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I kind of just added this space, of course, because whatever job your sim is working in, you could still end up needing a computer space. And then this little bookcase, I decided to really clutter up the side of this with things that you end up just dumping down when you walk through the door, some baby essentials, and then I thought it looked quite cute adding down the bag of shopping, because it kind of looks like she's just come through the door and popped it down along with the bills and some post. I did also pop up these certificate style images on the wall. I thought they looked quite good for maybe her university degree or certificates that she's got throughout her career. So I thought they looked quite nice there, and a good way to have a bit of display going on that side, because the wall did look quite empty. And then I did add in some wall lights, and now we're going to move on into the infant's room. Now when I started decorating this room, I hadn't yet decided if this was going to be a boy or a girl, so I was kind of going through placing down my wallpapers and thinking, you know what, I don't really want to lean into the neutral vibe in this room. I do want to pick a gender, so I ended up going for girl. So of course, even if you have a little boy, you can use pink tones, but I did go in and decorate this with a girl in mind. So I placed down the crib and the baby change table, and I kind of imagined that when she become a single mum, or when she sort of found out she was pregnant and realized that she was going to be bringing the baby up alone, she really wanted to go all in and make sure she's going to do as best as she can, even though before having a baby she was very career minded. So I wanted to make sure that the nursery looked super cute. I kind of imagined she went out and got the best of what she could. And yeah, so I placed down a lot of matching items to make it feel as though this is her first baby and she really wants to enjoy the experience, because maybe she didn't plan on having kids, but she's just really embraced the new way of life. So I went in and got lots of matching furniture and kind of just imagined that she really enjoyed doing this room. Maybe she had some help from family and friends, but she really went all out with the decor. I really loved this idea as well of popping down this wall sign. I can't remember what pack this is from. I do believe it's kind of designed to be used on a community lot, but I sized it down and placed it above the baby change station, and I just imagined it was like a decal with the baby's name on it. I see that done quite a lot in real life, and I think it's such a cute idea. So I placed that down with some of the wooden hearts, so it just gives a little bit of decor and personalization to the room. We're then going to move on into the bathroom. Now this bathroom was a little bit annoying to decorate because it's quite long and narrow. Usually I end up doing more square bathrooms, but that was just how the floor plan for this one went. So I wanted to also make sure that I could include in a washer and dryer, because I'd popped those kind of items down in the first build and I just imagined that they were something you would have. So I decided to squeeze them in here, and obviously there's not loads of space, but it is quite a long bathroom. So design wise I wasn't 100% on how this turned out, but it does fit everything you need and it all functions how it should do. Now I haven't uploaded these builds onto the gallery as of yet. I uploaded the shell of building the apartment block, so if you want to go in and create your own apartments, you can download the shell and do that. But I thought I would upload the completed apartments once I've finished all 6 of them. So this is only number 2. So I will pop this up on the gallery once I've finished the block, and then it'll be uploaded kind of like as the entire build. But yes, if you want to go in and make your own apartments, then the shell is up on the gallery. I had so much fun doing the shell, and I love that you can now build your own apartments using the for rent pack. I know it's been out a while, so it's not a new feature, but it was something that I really wanted, and I'm so glad to use it in gameplay. So I definitely plan on creating a few more apartment builds for my channel, and maybe a few more other multi-unit lots. But now we're moving on into the bedroom area, and I wanted to bring in some more of those lilac tones in this room as well. And then I also wanted this room to represent her a little bit more. I kind of imagined the room that's now the nursery. I imagined that before, when she was working either as a model or a fashion influencer, this room was kind of like her work room, where she used to have all her clothes and makeup, and she'd use that room to film content and things like that. And then obviously she changed it into a nursery, so now she's using this section of the room for that. So although I placed down the wardrobe, I did also place down this clothes rail, as I imagined that she gets sent lots of clothes as PR and things like that. So this is somewhere that she can hang and display them. And then I do also come in and add quite a lot of clutter on the floor around this section to kind of make it represent her working space. And it's just like her space where she can work away from her child, maybe when he or she goes to nursery, or sorry, when she goes to daycare, or when the child is sleeping. So I placed down a few things to try and represent that, and a few things that are kind of like for her. So I placed down the yoga mat, as I imagine that's a hobby that she's into. And then here is when I start placing down some of the work related clutter. So I placed down both of the cameras, some shoes, some boxes to kind of look like PR that's been sent, and then just some items that she would probably use when getting ready. And then that does bring us to the end of the video. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all so much for watching before I leave you with the screenshots. Hopefully I shall see you all again in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.